In today's He-Man episode review, we look at visitors from Earth. No, not to imply that I'm an alien. I'm talking about a Season 2 episode of He-Man in which two astronauts are accidentally sucked through a portal and transported to Eternia. The female astronaut launches herself out and, okay, seriously, heels in a spacesuit? This is a kid show from the 80s? Okay. Well, she's launched out into the Royal Palace's courtyard and explains that the ship contains a powerful missile which was designed to blow up a giant meteor which is comprised of unassorted space junk and is threatening the Earth. And as luck would have it, the ship lands near Snake Mountain, and so He-Man and the female astronaut go out to rescue the other astronaut. And by the way, I love how she just pieces out on a sky sled.
It's Colonel Blaze! He's alive! I can find him now!
Though, at least it gives Adam a perfect chance to transform. They distract Beastman and Too Bad by throwing rocks. I mean, seriously, this is pretty fucking stupid, but somehow just incredibly entertaining at the same time.
This always works on TV. Watch!
So you want to play games, eh? Now we can call you Palefaces.
Meanwhile, Skeletor takes the missile to Grayskull, planning to blow up the drawbridge with it, and so he uses Screech. Wait a minute. Why the hell is Screech so tiny? He was big enough to carry Cringer on his back in the Scaredy Cat episode. What, did he get shrunk in the wash? This is a kid show from the 80s? Okay. But of course, He-Man shows up and the missile falls into the bottomless pit around Grayskull, and He-Man has to rush down with a Wind Raider. Kinda wondering why he didn't do that in the episode Into the Abyss when Teela fell down there. Yes, I'm going to review it this year, hold your horses. Unfortunately, the missile's launch systems were damaged when the ship landed, but after Marlena helps the astronauts navigate themselves and He-Man through the portal, He-Man, of course, volunteers to chuck the missile at the asteroid. So I don't see why He-Man would need to do that, because A, these guys have spacesuits, and B, space is basically a vacuum, so you don't need thrust to throw something like a missile in a straight line. This is a kid show from the 80s? Okay. Now, The Visitors from Earth is actually a really cool episode from the point of view of the script. The setup where we encounter Earthlings is kinda cool, and I also like the fact they recognize Queen Marlena, or Marlena Glenn, as the kick-ass astronaut we know her to be. And I also love that Marlena has the smarts to use her own flight recorder to help the astronauts get back to Earth. Unfortunately, the episode direction is sadly a bit weak. Now, the episode's opening animation is actually really cool and detailed. I especially love the shadows on the astronauts, but the action at Snake Mountain and Grayskull is just hella awkward. Not that surprising, since the director, Glenn Wetzler, is perhaps best remembered for directing The She-Demon of Phantos as well as The Search for the VHO. And even though the VHO episode is one of my all-time favorites, and did have some really detailed animations, the vast majority of Wetzler's work was a bit more similar to She-Demon, which I covered in my very first He-Man episode review. It's a shame too, because we have an appearance by Spike-Core, yet he doesn't get to do pretty much anything, and funny enough, this is also Two-Pat's only appearance where he gets to do anything, though it's not very interesting. The writing is hands down this episode's saving grace. I think the dialogue is excellent. The threat of a space junk asteroid is kind of a cool concept, because as we all know, space junk is actually a kind of a big deal these days. And of course, I always love He-Man episodes where someone's origins gets referenced. I just wish the action side of the episode had been handled better, but this episode is still worth checking out for its unique elements. And that's all from me for now. Until next time, I have the power, so can you. He-Man.